Welcome to the Dandelion Economics series. Today's video will be on the production possibility curve, and this is topic 1.1.3 of the syllabus. So let's start by talking about the economic models, which is what the production possibility curve is a part of. The economic models help to explain the relationship between ideas and theories, and they make connections between the real-world variables. They are expressed as, most oftentimes, mathematical equations or visual diagrams, what we know as graphs. And they focus on a selection of a group of variables, and they make assumptions, which means they leave some of the factors out of the consideration to make things easier and more direct. So, to explain the production possibility curve, it is a model that is also known as the production possibilities frontier, so summarized to PPC or PPF. This model describes the production capabilities of an economy based on scarce resources. We'll take a look at what this means in a closer example. It helps to determine the potential output of the country with certain amount of resources. So as we mentioned earlier in the previous video, we have the concept of scarcity and the problem of choice. So when we make economic decisions, we have to consider what we can do and what we have to leave out as an opportunity choice. So let's look at a diagram for the PPC. This is an example of a production possibilities curve. It has on the x-axis, it has two types of goods. So on the x-axis, it has here capital goods, and on the y-axis, consumer goods. So we can understand this simply as two types of goods produced by the market. And there is a curve that is highlighted in blue right here. So what this curve essentially means is that by producing one good, we're leaving out the opportunity to provide more of the other good because we have a fixed amount of resources that are available to us. There are unlimited needs and wants, but there are limited resources. So, for example, for the point 4 right here, it is a combination of such quantity of capital goods and such quantity of consumer goods. And this would vary based on where you are on the possibilities curve. So these mark out the possibilities of production through the combination of resources that are being used. Here we arrive to the assumptions of the model. So as we mentioned earlier, the economic models, they often have a selection of variable group, and they leave out some factors from consideration. So in here, the PPC curve, the assumptions include the state of technology at the moment of time is fixed. So it means that because technology affects the amount of production and the amount of supply, so we consider it as fixed. And each economy produces only two goods. So in the example right here, this economy would only produce capital goods and consumer goods. And then we have goods produced using combination of available resources. So as we said before, by producing some two goods, we are using a combination of resources to achieve that. Amount of resources at the moment in time is fixed. So this corresponds with the rule of scarcity. And lastly, not least, all resources are fully employed. So this is what it means for the points on the curve. When the points on the curve are presented, it means that all of the resources that are available are being used into production. And then we'll move on to efficiency and unemployment. So how does this relate to the PPC? Efficiency has a definition of resources used in the best possible way. meaning that all resources used, there are no waste, and the productivity is at its maximum. So let's look at some points on the curve to indicate this idea of efficiency. So the points that are on the PPC, what you see right here are points 3 and 4. So these points are achieving maximum potential output. They are representing economic efficiency, and it means that no resources are unemployed. And this meets the assumption for the last assumption, all resources fully employed. However, if we look at the points inside the PPC, point 1 right here, it means that not all factors of production are used, or they're inefficient, and they have a potential to increase their productivity. So for example, if we have 3 units of resources, we're only using 2 right here. So we can use additional to push it to any point on the curve. And we have point 2 right here, outside the PPC. It means that it is impossible or unattainable of the combination of goods produced, because we just don't have that much resources available to us for production. So we have the situations of efficient, inefficient, and unattainable. And then here we have the actual output, which is the point where a country is standing. So this curve is an actual representation of the actual output of goods. Next, we have growth and output. So we have one thing called the actual growth, which means that the economy is producing more quantity of more goods through the usage of more resources. For example, if we add in from the 3 units that we have of resources that we have originally, we add in 1 more unit, achieving 4 units of resources. We're using that amount of additional resources plus the ones we have to produce more goods. And we have here the potential output. This means that there's the maximum amount of goods that can be produced. So with 3 units of resources that we had, we could only produce such as 2 pencils and 1 pen, and that's the maximum, and we can no longer increase it because it is already on the curve. Anything beyond the curve would be unattainable. Lastly, we're going to talk about the opportunity cost, scarcity, and choice, which links to what we talked about before. Again, reviewing, opportunity cost is what is sacrificed when an economic decision is made, and this is shown on the PPC. Because the opportunity cost of producing such amount of capital goods what means to sacrifice the production of any consumer goods because we don't have any more resources. And this means that the quantity of capital goods on here means 0 quantity of consumer goods. So that would be the opportunity cost of producing this amount of capital goods. And we have one more concept right here of the increasing versus constant opportunity cost. So the PPC, why is the PPC curved? If we consider that question, it is because the opportunity cost is not normally constant, as resources are transferred from the production of goods. Not all factors of production are equally well suited to the production of both goods. There might be one resource that's more suitable to the production of one good while it has no effect on the other. Constant opportunity cost can be shown as a straight linear line on the graph instead of a curved graph. For instance, basketball versus volleyball. The production of these goods, because they are similar goods, so they need similarly specialized factors of production, and this would cause them to have a linear line crossed over here. And that's all from Dandelion today. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And if you would like to stay tuned for further videos, please click subscribe. See you next time.